The stars are shifting, the energy is changing, and this week, the week of March 9th through March 15th, carries with it the kind of cosmic momentum that does not whisper. It announces itself. Whether you are ready or not, something is moving, something is awakening, and each sign of the zodiac will feel it in their own way. Tonight, we walk through the astrology of this week. We will explore what the heavens are asking of you, what doors are opening, and what old patterns are finally ready to fall away. This is your guide, your roadmap, your invitation to align with the energy of the cosmos and move with intention instead of against the current. Let us begin. The energy of the week, March 9-15, 2026. Before we dive into each individual sign, let us look at the larger cosmic picture. This week, we are still feeling the lingering effects of the recent Aquarius eclipse. Eclipse energy does not disappear overnight. It ripples forward for weeks, sometimes months. And this week, those ripples are becoming waves. Mercury is moving through Pisces, which means communication is softer, more intuitive, less logical. Words carry emotional weight. Dreams feel significant. Pay attention to what comes through in meditation, in journaling, in the quiet moments before sleep. Venus is in Aries, which brings boldness to love and relationships. If you have been waiting for someone else to make the first move, this is your week to stop waiting. Venus in Aries does not ask for permission. It acts. And Mars is in Cancer, which is an interesting placement. Mars wants to move forward. Cancer wants to protect. So this week, you may feel the tension between wanting to take action and wanting to stay safe. The key is to honor both. Move forward, but with care. Take risks, but with intention. The overall theme of this week is movement through uncertainty. You do not need to have all the answers. You simply need to trust that the next step will reveal itself when you take it. Now, let us see what this week holds for each sign. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. Aries, this week the fire inside you is burning hotter than usual. Venus is in your sign, which means you are magnetic right now. People are drawn to you. Opportunities are finding you. And you have the kind of confidence that makes things happen simply because you believe they will. This is a powerful week for relationships. If you are single, do not be surprised if someone new enters your life suddenly. If you are in a relationship, this is the week to reignite the spark. Plan something bold. Say the thing you have been holding back. Venus in Aries does not do subtlety. But here is what you need to watch out for. Mars is in Cancer this week, and Cancer opposes your natural energy. Mars in Cancer wants to protect. It wants to stay safe. And you, Aries, want to charge forward without looking back. So this week, you might feel torn between wanting to take a big leap and wanting to hold yourself back out of fear. Do not let fear win. But also, do not ignore it. Sometimes caution is not weakness. Sometimes it is wisdom. Your advice for the week: trust your instincts, but give yourself permission to move slowly if that is what feels right. Speed is not always strength. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Taurus, this week is asking you to let go of something you have been holding onto for far too long. Mercury is moving through your subconscious sector, which means old thoughts, old fears, old patterns are rising to the surface. This is not comfortable. You like stability. You like knowing what to expect. And this week is shaking that up. But here is the truth. What you are being asked to release is not serving you anymore. It might have protected you once. It might have been necessary at one point. But now it is just weight. And you are ready to put it down. This is a week for inner work. Journaling, meditation, therapy, conversations with people you trust. Do not try to push through this alone. And do not try to ignore what is coming up. The only way out is through. In your external life, things may feel quieter than usual. And that is okay. Not every week is meant for action. Some weeks are meant for reflection, for integration, for rest. Your advice for the week: release what no longer serves you, even if it feels scary. Especially if it feels scary. On the other side of that release is freedom. Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. Gemini, this is your week to connect, to collaborate, to build community. Mercury, your ruling planet, is in Pisces right now, which softens your usual sharp, logical communication style. You are more intuitive this week, more empathetic, more able to read between the lines and sense what people are not saying out loud. This is a beautiful energy for deepening friendships, for having meaningful conversations, for reaching out to people you have been thinking about but have not spoken to in a while. But it is also a week where you need to be careful about overextending yourself. Pisces energy can make you want to help everyone, fix everything, be everything to everyone. And you cannot. You are not infinite. You need rest. You need boundaries. So this week, say yes to the connections that feel good. And give yourself permission to say no to the ones that drain you. Your advice for the week: quality over quantity. A few deep, meaningful connections are worth more than 100 surface-level ones. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. Cancer, this week you are being asked to step into your power in a way that might feel uncomfortable at first. Mars is in your sign, which is rare. Mars does not spend much time in Cancer, and when it does, it asks you to be bolder than you usually are. To speak up, to take action, to stop waiting for others to lead and to step into leadership yourself. This is not your natural energy. You are nurturing, you are protective, you care deeply about how your actions affect others. And Mars does not care about any of that. Mars just wants results. So this week, you might feel a tension between wanting to move forward and wanting to make sure everyone else is okay first. And here is what you need to know: you can do both. You can be bold and kind. You can be strong and compassionate. You do not have to choose. This is also a powerful week for setting boundaries. If someone has been taking advantage of your kindness, this is the week to say enough. Mars gives you the courage to do what you have been avoiding. Your advice for the week: you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to want things. You are allowed to put yourself first. It is not selfish. It is necessary. Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. Leo, this week is about expansion, about vision, about dreaming bigger than you have been allowing yourself to dream. Jupiter is still moving through your adventure and learning sector, and this week, it is lighting up possibilities that you may not have considered before. A trip you have been thinking about taking. A course you have been wanting to enroll in. A project that feels too big, too ambitious, too risky. This is the week to stop talking yourself out of it and start taking the first step. But here is the challenge. Mars is in Cancer this week, which is your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of the subconscious, of rest, of retreat. And Mars does not like being here. It feels restless, frustrated, like it wants to move but does not know where to go. So this week, you might feel torn between wanting to charge forward with your big vision and feeling like you need to pause, rest, pull back. The answer is not either or. The answer is both. Move forward, but give yourself time to process. Dream big, but also give yourself space to rest. You do not have to do everything at once. Your advice for the week: trust that rest is productive. Trust that pausing does not mean stopping. And trust that the vision will still be there when you are ready to act on it. Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. Virgo, this week you are being asked to trust what you cannot see. Mercury, your ruling planet, is in Pisces, which is your opposite sign. And Pisces does not operate the way you do. Pisces does not need proof. It does not need logic. It does not need a plan. It simply knows. And this week, you are being asked to tap into that kind of knowing. To trust your intuition even when it does not make logical sense. To follow a feeling even when you cannot explain it. This is hard for you. You like clarity. You like structure. You like knowing exactly what you are doing and why. But this week, the universe is asking you to let go of that need for certainty and step into the unknown with faith. This might show up in relationships. Someone might say something that does not quite add up, and instead of overanalyzing it, you will just know whether it is true or not. Or it might show up in work. A decision might need to be made, and instead of researching every possible outcome, you will just know which direction to go. Your advice for the week: not everything can be figured out with the mind. Some things can only be felt with the heart. Trust what you feel, even if you cannot explain it. Libra, September 23rd to October 22nd. Libra, this week is about intimacy, about trust, about letting someone in. Venus, your ruling planet, is in Aries, which is your relationship sector. And Aries does not play it safe. Aries is bold, direct, honest, sometimes too honest. So this week, you might find yourself saying things you have been holding back. Asking for what you want. Setting boundaries you have been avoiding, and this is a good thing. Because you have a tendency to keep the peace at the expense of your own needs. And that is not sustainable. But here's the thing. Intimacy requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is terrifying, because when you let someone in, you risk being hurt. You risk being misunderstood. You risk being rejected. And yet, the deepest connections you will ever have in your life will require you to take that risk. So this week, if someone is showing up for you, let them. If someone is asking to know you more deeply, let them. And if you are the one wanting to get closer to someone, ask. Do not wait for them to make the first move. Your advice for the week: you cannot build intimacy while keeping walls up. At some point, you have to let someone see the real you. And this week is asking you to take that step. Scorpio, October 23rd to November 21st. Scorpio, this week is about release. About letting go of control. About trusting that not everything needs to be held so tightly. Mars, your ruling planet, is in Cancer this week, which is your house of expansion and belief. And Cancer energy is soft. It is emotional. It is vulnerable. And that is not how you usually operate. You like control. You like knowing what is happening. You like being 10 steps ahead of everyone else. But this week, the universe is asking you to soften. To trust. To let go of the need to manage every outcome. This might show up in relationships. Someone might ask you to trust them, and instead of testing them or looking for proof, you will just have to decide whether or not to believe them. Or it might show up in work. A project might require you to delegate, to step back, to let someone else take the lead. And that is hard for you. Because if you are not in control, you are vulnerable. And vulnerability feels like weakness. But it is not. It is strength. It is courage. It is the willingness to be seen even when you do not have armor on. Your advice for the week: not everything is a test. Not everyone is trying to hurt you. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is trust. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. Sagittarius, this week is about slowing down. About paying attention to the details. About finishing what you started. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is still moving through your house of daily routines and health. And this week, it is asking you to look at the small things. The habits, the patterns, the things you do every single day without thinking about them. Because those small things add up. And right now, some of them are working for you. And some of them are working against you. This is a week to assess. To adjust. To make small changes that will have a big impact over time. Maybe it is your sleep schedule. Maybe it is what you are eating. Maybe it is how you are spending your mornings. Whatever it is, pay attention. But here is the challenge. You do not like details. You like the big picture. You like vision. You like freedom. And this week is asking you to zoom in, not out, and that feels boring. Restrictive. Too small. But the truth is, the big vision only works if the foundation is solid. And right now, you are being asked to tend to the foundation. Your advice for the week: small, consistent actions create massive change over time. Do not underestimate the power of showing up for yourself in the little ways. Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. Capricorn, this week is about joy. About creativity. About letting yourself play. Venus is moving through your house of home and family, which softens your usual serious, work-focused energy. This is a week to prioritize the people you love. To spend time doing things that have no purpose other than enjoyment. To let yourself rest without feeling guilty about it. You have been working hard. You have been carrying a lot. And you do not give yourself permission to stop very often. But this week, the universe is giving you that permission. Take it. This might look like a quiet night at home with your favorite people. Or a creative project that has nothing to do with your career. Or simply giving yourself space to do nothing at all. And if your mind starts telling you that you should be doing something productive, remind it that rest is productive. That joy is productive. That connection is productive. Your advice for the week: you are not a machine. You are a human being. And human beings need rest, play, and love just as much as they need work. Give yourself that this week. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. Aquarius, this week is quieter than the last few have been. And that is exactly what you need. You have been in the spotlight. You have been processing big changes. You have been moving through the aftermath of the eclipse in your sign. And now, the energy is pulling you inward, asking you to integrate, to reflect, to rest. Mercury is moving through your house of finances and values, which means this is a good week to look at your relationship with money, with resources, with what you value. Not in a stressful way. Just in a curious, honest way. Are you spending money on things that actually matter to you? Or are you spending it on things you think you should care about? Are you valuing your time appropriately? Are you charging what you are worth? These are not easy questions. But they are important ones. And this week, you have the clarity to answer them honestly. Your advice for the week: integration is just as important as action. Give yourself time to process everything that has been shifting. The next chapter is coming, but you do not need to rush into it. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. Pisces, this is your week. Your energy, your season. Mercury is in your sign, which means you are more articulate, more expressive, more able to put your feelings into words than you usually are. This is a beautiful time for conversations, for writing, for sharing what has been living inside you. But here is what you need to be careful of. Mercury in Pisces can also make you overly empathetic. You might absorb other people's emotions without realizing it. You might take on problems that are not yours to solve. You might lose yourself trying to help everyone else. So this week, boundaries are essential. Know where you end and other people begin. Know when to offer support and when to step back. Know that you are not responsible for fixing everything and everyone. This is also a powerful week for manifestation. Your intuition is sharp. Your connection to the universe is strong. And what you focus on this week has the potential to take root and grow. Your advice for the week: you are allowed to prioritize yourself. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to protect your energy. Compassion does not require self-sacrifice. Closing. And so the week unfolds. 12 signs, 12 paths, 12 invitations to align with the energy of the cosmos and move with intention. The stars do not dictate your life. They simply reflect it. They show you the currents, the patterns, the possibilities. But what you do with that information is always your choice. This week, choose awareness. Choose intention. Choose to move with the energy instead of against it. And remember, you are not separate from the universe. You are part of it. And when you align with the cosmos, you align with your own true nature. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust yourself. Until next week.